Okay.
Clerk will call the roll.
Glenn Whitley, County Judge.
Here.
Roy C. Brooks, Commissioner Precinct 1.
Present.
Andy H. Wynn, Commissioner Precinct 2.
Here.
Gary Fickus, Commissioner Precinct 3.
Present.
J.D. Johnson, Commissioner Precinct 4.
Here.
Constitutes a quorum.
Present.
This is the new Fickus showing up here today, President.
I'm present today, not here, but present.
Welcome to those of us who are present.
I know, you know.
Our invocation today will be delivered by Pastor Vic Barklow from the Bethesda Community Church in Fort Worth. Come on forward. We appreciate you being here today. After the invocation, please remain standing for our pledges.
Thank you. My Father, we come to you today because the court has business for our county, but first I just want to say thank you. What a great place to live. Lord, of all the ages and of all the times that we could be alive, we're alive today and live in this county. So thank you very much. We need your wisdom today. Trying to govern without your government is always a disaster, so I pray for wisdom for all of us, for insight and enablement, because we need your wisdom, knowing that your thoughts are not our thoughts and your ways are not our ways. So we ask for your oversight, that the men and women who lead this county will do so under your guidance, and that you will bless this county as you bless our nation. Help us to be people of your word. Today we declare our dependence upon you and upon you alone. We serve by your permission. Protect our county employees as they go to and from work, as they work in office buildings and courthouses and on the streets and various places. We pray for our armed forces that you protect our men and women in uniform. We pray for a breakthrough from our drought. We pray for rain. Let your rain come upon our county. As we know that your hand is not short, your ear is not stopped up, that you still save and you still heal, still hear us, and so we ask for that today. In the name of His Royal Highness King Jesus, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Reverend. Thank you, Pastor Barlow.
Thank you,
Appreciate you being here today. Mr. Manius, agenda announcements.
Thank you, Your Honor. We have two announcements as it relates to the agenda this morning. The first is under the Administrator section. Item 7A2. This concerns a commercial lease agreement with the dealing with the hospital district. There's a minor correction on your court communication. Also, members of the court, under the District Attorney's Office, item 7E2. This concerns a resolution authorizing the use of eminent domain to condemn certain properties. We're going to hold that until after closed this morning. And then, I believe that there may be one other comment or
They're out of order.
Which item did you say we're going to hold till after close? One or two?
Two.
Two, okay.
Yes, sir.
And what item were you talking about that we were going to comment on?
I thought you might want to. It's under announcements.
Oh.
We don't have any announcements today.
Well,
You're getting announcements right now, Judge.
The,
See this how great technology is, JD? I'm with you on this one.
did you kill it?
I did.
Where is it?
It's gone.
It's gone.
It's
Better
gone.
not be.
The picture that there we go. Wait, I don't think so. Where's the judge? That's his clothes.
That was after I took the.
I saw him earlier in the day in those clothes, by the way. He was in those clothes.
Some people thought that sprinkling wasn't enough, so I needed the full immersion. And so yesterday I got the full immersion at the.
Fell in a creek? Or
Well,
pond?
it was actually a slip and slide. I fell on the up leading to the pond, and ended up in the pond as it was over with. We were playing a little golf yesterday.
Where are your underwear? Where's your underwear?
I don't know where they are. I guess one of y'all must have
Did you
worn
not
them.
have any on?
I guess one of y'all must have worn them, and so you kept them. But we were playing golf, and I had decided to go after a ball that never went in the direction that I wanted it to. And so I decided I was going to step across this water, and instead of stepping across it, I just stepped in it and hit some algae, and yeah, you've been there, done that. Both my feet came out from underneath me, and the next thing I knew, I was swimming with the fishes. And I thought my friend from Midland, Odessa, Judge Bradford, he pulled me out, and he went and actually got me a change of clothes that I had in the car. I didn't realize he was going to show my clothes all over the course from that point forward, or I would not have let him have that sack that he told me he was going to take back to the car. So the judge is missing from there, but I've decided that after the day I hit it better than I've ever hit it before. So I may just start off and do the slip and slide at the beginning of each tournament from this point forward. But once I saw the picture this morning, I knew that picture would show up many times, I'm sure, again.
You just never know.
Judge Woodley, I talked to Judge Bradford yesterday, and he said something, and I respect Judge Bradford. He said you actually changed clothes on the next tee box?
No, there happened to be a restroom right next to the next tee box when he caught up with me, and so I didn't go streaking out there and let the rumors cease that there was any streaking that went on yesterday.
Somebody told me they'd never seen so much white skin, that white in their life.
It did get a lot.
I'm just telling you what.
It did get a lot brighter after I. Are y'all through? You want anything else you want to do?
Judge, I don't think they'll ever be through with this one.
Well, I'm sure they won't be, but I just want to give them an opportunity to get it all out here while we can.
Where's the shot when you were in the water?
That one, I really thought I was safe until Bradford decided to. I'm going to get Bradford on this. His time's coming. We should have gotten pictures of his shoes.
That's a good campaign picture, Judge.
Yeah, it is. It is. Are y'all through?
With a,
Okay, I just want to be sure that we're. I knew this was coming, so you have before you now the minutes of our regular meeting of October the 18th.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. We got a whole lot of abstaining going on here. And Fickus, you hadn't voted. You guys quit piddling with my
My
picture.
abstain button was pushed, so somebody's been up here, I don't know who.
You need to undo the abstain.
Undo the abstention. Get that yellow one up.
Who did that?
All right, now we're unanimous and decided. Next, you have before you the consent agenda.
Move for approval.
second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Manius.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the court, under the Administrator's Section, item number 1, we're requesting that the Commissioners Court repeal the prohibition against outside burning in the unincorporated areas of Tarrant County.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And before we can go to item number 2, we're requesting that the Commissioners Court concur with the actions of the Tarrant County Hospital District Board of Managers and approve a commercial lease agreement between Tarrant County Hospital District and NHI Investment Partners.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Members of the court, if we could go to item number 3, we're requesting that the court concur with the actions of the Tarrant County Hospital District Board of Managers and approve a commercial lease agreement between Tarrant County Hospital District and Lisi Hesoft Developments.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Members of the court, if we could go to item number 4, we're requesting that the court approve the renewal of an interlocal agreement between Tarrant County and the Department of Family and Protective Services for staff funding.
Move approval. Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And finally, members of court, on item number 5, we're requesting that the court approve amended sublease agreement between Sir Jobs for Progress and Educational First Steps for rental space at the Resource Connection.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have 2 motions and 2 seconds. Any further discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Snyder.
Management Board is recommending a claim that's presented on your agenda.
You're actually going to pay some.
Move approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Ms. Worthy.
Good morning.
Our first item is to request that you receive and file the personnel agenda.
So moved. Second.
A motion and a second. Receive and file personnel agenda. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Our second item is to request approval of a departmental reorganization to eliminate the technical operations manager position in information technology effective October the 29th. We received a request from the department for a reorganization. The duties of this position are now obsolete and are no longer needed, and therefore that position would be eliminated. There is an incumbent in the position. The incumbent has been offered and accepted a reassignment within the department. Due to the reassignment, the cost to the county, because the position being eliminated, is not a general fund position. So the general fund position they will go into will cost the county approximately $39,500. However, the department does expect through salary savings to eliminate that overall cost.
Move approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Robin, please let Tina know that we're thinking about Tina. Miss Glenn lost her father, and so just be aware of that. Ms. Brewer. Good morning.
Public Health has one item for your approval this morning. This is to submit a grant application to the National Association of County and City Health Officials, NACHO, for the Accreditation Support Initiative.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Mr. Beecham, come on down.
I didn't Razorbacks.
I don't know how those Razorbacks did, but my Tigers did pretty good.
Did they get beat?
Y'all get beat?
Sir,
No, you beat Mississippi State.
we snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. We have one item for your consideration this morning. That is a bid award recommendation for bid number 2012-004, which is our annual contract for graphic and photographic supplies. The recommendation would be to award on a per unit price basis, awarding to the primary and secondary vendors as shown in your court.
Move for approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Commissioner Wynn, I believe you have an interlocal agreement.
I move for the approval of item M, 1A, B, C, D, E, and F.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Commissioner Fickus.
I have an interlocal agreement with the City of Euless. A and B. Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Any appointments?
Yes. I would like to appoint Lisa McMillan to be one of the county's representatives on the TIF, number 6, the Riverfront TIF District Board.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Briefing items, Mr. Manius.
Your Honor, did you want to take the claims first?
No.
Okay. We can go to the briefing items then.
Do I have a motion to approve the claims, including the addendum?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the claims. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
I asked politely.
I know.
Not politely. Members of the Court, we have several items to bring to the Court this morning as it relates to the briefing. We're going to combine A and C and ask Mr. Phillips to come forward. Mr. Phillips is first going to brief us on the 2006 County Capital Improvements Program, and then he'll be talking about item A.
Show and tell?
Yes,
We've
sir.
already seen pictures today, so
Yes.
you don't have pictures, I hope.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'd like to update the Commissioners' Court on several of the facilities management construction projects. First, the 1895 Courthouse Clock Tower Rehabilitation Project. The project is going well. The stainless steel panels are being fastened to the superstructure at the dome level. The stainless steel will act as a support structure for the new waterproofing membrane that will be assembling underneath the new copper. The assembly goes essentially something like this. This new copper or stainless steel underlayment attaches to the skeleton of the building. Then on top of that, we get 2 layers of rubberized waterproofing membrane. And then on top of that, we get our 20-ounce copper plates. Now for comparison, this particular piece of copper was taken off of the clock tower a few months ago. It's approximately 1/1600ths of an inch thick. This new copper is approximately double that. Also, this particular copper didn't have any underlayment or stainless steel underneath it to keep the water out. And this lasted 116 years, and it was held together with wire and solder. This particular piece of copper, however, has some real issues. It has 2 bullet holes in it. This particular piece of copper came off the north face on the clock surround on the top, we believe. We did take this piece of copper over to the medical examiner's crime lab, to their firearms laboratory, and had an in-depth analysis done on it, and they said, yes, it is a bullet hole.
Was it muzzle loaded?
They did not say, but we do believe it came from the west side of the county.
David, I know when that happened. I do. There's a picture of all the commissioners sitting up on, you've seen that picture, sitting up on top right before it was completed, and they're sitting on the west sides, facing kind of the southwest. That's when that was right before they voted them out of office. But that's when they took those shots.
I'm trying to figure out how, if they were on the west side, how they went through the north clock face.
Well,
Because that's where you told me that was from, right?
We believe it is, yes.
well, you
Is
know,
there something wrong with this story here?
maybe they were on the northwest side.
Anyway, we're going to, when
They were sitting up there.
Medical examiner doing further analysis and study on
well,
Do you have the sheriff's department investigating this?
no, just the medical examiner's
How
crime lab.
close is the district clerk's office to?
Anyway, we expect this project to finish up in April, and we'll ask folks if they can refrain from it not to shoot any bullet holes in our new copper. Moving on to the jail project, this exterior skin work is wrapping up now. On the interior of the building, we're hanging doors, installing locks, and painting walls. It's going well. Moving on to the medical examiner's office. Completion date will be in April. Probably won't move inmates in until, I would say, summer by the time we get conditioned and ready to go.
Now, is the clock tower also going to be, is that around April, May?
Yes, sir. Moving on to the medical examiner's office expansion project, we have moved all the laboratories into the new crime lab building. Things are going well. The existing morgue construction renovation work will finish up in late December or early January. Moving on to the civil courts building project, in a few weeks, you'll see a City of Fort Worth Community Facilities Agreement on the court agenda, which will allow us to perform utility work out on the city streets when we start construction. Also, you'll see the construction manager's contract on the agenda as well in just a couple of weeks.
Have we concluded? This work that we'll be doing in the streets is the moving of the utilities to the site.
Connection.
Connection
Yes, sir.
of utilities to the site.
Electrical, some water, sewer. When we did the property exchange with the college district, they made us whole and provided those utilities to the same location with the same distance of our new block, and we'll still be responsible for connection.
Okay.
When are the bids going out?
Bids will go out in late November or December. We're running a little late because of the mechanical issues we had regarding design and getting it back in the budget, but it'll be this year. The construction...
I want to go back up to the jail for a second. The April completion of the handover, does that include, I know we have talked about the holding cells, and I also know that we talked about the kitchen area, the old kitchen area being converted into, is that all a part of this particular deal?
No, Judge, it's not. And you mentioned a couple of times this summer that you were going to come back and talk about capital requests. That was going to be one of them, is continue on with that holding cell work. Now, that holding cell work that would go in the old kitchen area would not commence until, of course, we moved the kitchen to the new building. So that probably wouldn't actually happen until April or May by the time we actually start cooking meals in
So
there.
if we were to decide to go forward, we just need to get that done prior to the April handover or
Yes, sir. We're finalizing the updated construction estimate. Gilbane's doing that now with Pegasus, and we'll bring that back to you. I think we would probably target the public advertisement of that work, which I think was $3 to $4 million of construction work. We would publicly advertise that in January, and that still would work us right into doing that work right after we moved out of the old kitchen.
Well, and we had talked about looking at all that, I think, in mid-November, because of end of year and the auditor's stuff, you know, our external auditors coming in, that may end up being around the middle of December before we can get to that. So our capital stuff might be right around the first of the new year. If that's, I mean, that's kind of where we are now. We really hadn't had a chance to talk too much about that yet as a court, but I just don't think we're going to be able to get everything ready by the middle of November. And
That's the day after tomorrow.
well, yeah, it's just about right. You're exactly right.
The construction documents are being reviewed on the civil courts building. The construction documents are being reviewed by the City of Fort Worth for building permit, and miscellaneous loose ends are being tied up with the final design. The construction manager, architects, engineers, and Tracy Pelly continue to work through some of the final design constructability details, such as determining the exact final location of the groundwater sump pumps in hopes of minimizing how deep we have to dig into the limestone rock to put the pipes. And also we're looking at possibly installing the brick right onto the new air conditioning equipment that's on the roof in lieu of building a standalone brick screen wall like we typically would do. If we can do that, we might save a couple of $100,000. So we're looking at that as well. Another thing they're looking at is installing some mold-resistant drywall in the above ceiling areas, and that may allow us to install the majority of the air conditioning ductwork before the building is dried in, and that we may be able to pick up a few days in the construction time. So we're looking at those kind of things. Lastly, also related to design, I'm requesting the Commissioners Court consider a redesign of the district courtrooms. Let me give you a little background. Back in May of this year, we sent some of the project team members to a courtroom technology conference in Williamsburg, Virginia, and we sent them to gather information on the latest improvements in courtroom technology as it relates to audiovisual systems. They came back, and the outcome of that conference was the project team recommended we delete what we originally had planned on putting some ceiling-mounted screens and ceiling-mounted projectors in the courtrooms. In lieu of those, they recommended that we go with personal monitors at the litigant tables, witness stand, and jury box. This change will make the trial evidence presentation much more readable, the evidence that has text in it. Will be much more readable by all parties.
And now, are the judges, I know we spent a lot of time with them in the beginning on this and got the courtroom all laid out. They're all on board with this, and do we have a new mock-up of that courtroom?
We will hopefully when we get through this and you approve this design change.
Now, also, the project
See
team,
Judge Evans out there. Judge, you,
We are on board and desire to have the monitor configuration. All 10 district judges are agree with Mr. Phillips in that matter. Mr. Kelly also. And
he always knows just the right time to walk in.
You know, I'll tell the story on Mr. Kelly. He called me Friday, and I was at a place that had no cell service, yet his call came through, Judge, and then when he got off the line, there was no more service.
Mr. Kelly, welcome.
but also a little bit more history. We did include a writing surface into the jury box, which the project team recommended, and that allowed us to comply with a recent Texas Supreme Court ruling that requires civil courts in Texas to make provisions for jurors to take notes during civil trials. So we have a writing surface and an area for monitor. What that caused is the jury box to extend into the litigant area about 18 to 20 inches. Commissioners Court approved that change back in July. In finalizing the judge's bench area design recently, we found that the witness stand, the desktop area, was not going to be large enough for proper desktop space for the witness and for the new monitor. And any minor change we'd have made would have caused the witness stand to encroach again, just like the jury box did. It would have caused it to encroach into the litigant well. And the combination of the jury box and the witness stand encroaching into the litigant well really defeats one of the principal design goals of the project, which was to provide adequate litigant space for multi-party, multi-attorney trials. Now, there's a proposed new courtroom floor plan, a sketch that's in your electronic court book. We believe that particular sketch solves our problems regarding space. The additional flexibility was created because we eliminated the ramp behind the judge's bench and designed in a space for a future lift for the judge's accessibility needs. Now, regarding the costs, our minimum exposure for this design change, if you approve it, is approximately $100,000. That includes architectural design fees for the change. It also includes the purchase of one accessibility lift, and we would keep an inventory, and if we ever needed it for a judge, we would install it at that time. We would always have one in stock. I think our maximum exposure is approximately $600,000, and that's if we had to install lifts for each and all the 13 courtrooms. Now, I did talk with the State of Texas Architectural Barriers Program Manager down in Austin about this issue, and he stated that they would certainly consider a deferment, and they would not require the installation of the lifts. We have to submit that request, but they would not require if we made accommodations for a future installation. There's no guarantees of that, but from the established pattern, it looks like we could do that. And that means our exposure would possibly be $100,000. I think whatever the outcome of the costs, you have the commitment of the project team, which includes, of course, the Civil Courts Building Advisory Committee, Chairman D. Kelly, Judge David Evans, all the other civil district judges, and me, of course. You have the commitment that the budget you approved back earlier this year will not increase because of this change. Thus, I'm requesting the Commissioners Court approve this design change in the district courtrooms.
I will move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? So this schematic that we see in our electronic court books are, oh, you got it too?
It takes the judge's bench back about 4 feet and makes provisions for a lift to be installed later. We'll have to recess the concrete and things of that nature. We think all that part's a wash. The cost is in the lift.
Okay. Is the court reporter's back currently to the jury?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That, we do have a little flexibility on that particular station. It'll be tethered to a floor box and we could be positioned once in the courtroom probably. It won't be easily moved, but there will be some flexibility for the court reporters in that design. We've worked on that pretty hard.
Any other questions? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Phillips.
Members of the court, if we could now go to item B. This concerns an update as it relates to Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Judge Cummings is here to address the court at this time.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I have several people here with me. I have Deborah Besner, who's handing out stuff right now. She's my programs manager. I have Jean McClung, former member of the Fort Worth ISD School Board, and Lou Wynn, who's bending down. You can't see her right now. She's from UTA School of Social Work, and Kristen with her. This is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and so I just wanted to give y'all a briefing of the different programs that we have in County Criminal Court number 5. Y'all are always very generous with me when I ask for programs. Some have worked, we've stopped them. Others have worked tremendously, and we continue to use them. The first is Labor Detail BIP and In Custody BIP. BIP stands for Batterers Intervention and Prevention Program. Labor Detail BIP and In Custody BIP works with County Criminal Court number 5, the Sheriff's Department, and MHMR. Chief Knowles has been wonderful with me, helping me tweak this. Labor Detail BIP, it's obviously where they go to labor detail, but rather than picking up trash or washing cars, they go to counseling for half a day, and then the other half they go to do their duties. That is for male and female offenders. We used to have it for both English and Spanish. We couldn't keep the Spanish classes full, so that's when we made a Spanish in custody BIP class. We've always had an English-speaking in custody BIP class, but with the help of Chief Knowles, we keep tweaking it until we can keep the classes full. I think that all the paperwork will tell you how many classes there are and how many people. I don't think this was included, though. Blaine Moore from MHMR told me that about 1,600 men have attended the in custody BIP program since 2007. So it serves a tremendous amount. More often than not, the district attorney and the defense bar will make an agreement that if the person goes to the in-custody BIP class, then they might get a reduced sentence. These are often offenders who don't have the money to go to the private counseling, which is $25 a session for 18 weeks. So my short line on this is always they can sit in jail and play basketball or watch reruns of Law and Order. I could make them go to counseling, so I prefer the counseling. So that's that program. The other one is the Domestic Violence Diversion Program. We have had this for 11 years. We have wonderful people running this program. I have Sally Smith, Deborah Besner, Jennifer Staples, Aldelia Gonzalez. This is works with County Criminal Court number 5 and CSCD. Sally Smith is now an employee, a complete and total employee of CSCD, but Layton is nice enough to let her work on this program also. Like I say, it's been going 11 years. It's a year-long program for the offenders. It's amazing some of the stories that I hear from Sally. The first time we had the end of the program where they come in front of me and withdraw their plea of guilty and their case is dismissed, I had never seen an offender or a defendant hug a probation officer, and the first time I saw that I almost fell out of my chair, but that happens quite often. I've had doctors, lawyers, pilots, football coaches, and a member of my Sunday school class go through this program, so I'm very, very proud of this program. The latest, greatest program we have is Yoda, and we were laughing back there because we looked on the paperwork we handed you, and it has the Youthful Offender Division Program. Well, it's not division, it's diversion, so excuse that typo. Yoda stands for Youthful Offender Diversion Alternative. This was not my creation. The UTA Social Work Department came to me. Professor Peter Lehrman and Kathleen Jordan received some money through ICAP and asked me if I could use it or if I could find people to put into the program. I said certainly I could do that easily, and so we have done that. It is for youthful offenders who are non-intimate partners that they have gotten into a fight with. So basically this is 17-year-olds to 24, and I think we have changed it to 25 now, year-olds who are charged with assault bodily injury of a family member. And that might be a fight with a brother or a sister. It might be a shoving match with a parent. It might be a fight with a cousin. So it's all stuff like that, and I dare say if I took a poll today with y'all, that some of y'all might have been in a fist fight with a sibling after the age of 17. The consequences, if these kids go through my court and plead guilty, if they're placed on deferred adjudication, or if they take credit for time served, or if they go on regular probation, anything like that, the consequences are tremendous for them. They're never allowed to have a firearm again, so that does away with the military. Most apartment complexes won't rent to them because they have an assault bodily injury of the family member conviction on their record, and it's very hard for them to find a job. I would have kids in front of me fixing the plea, and I was like, let's talk about this, let's come up with something else. And so we started doing something called a memorandum of agreement, and that's where it was a condition of their bond that they go to and complete counseling, and then their case could get dismissed. So that didn't work because the kids didn't have any guidance. There's always more problems than what we know about going on. And so if I say go to a class, they may not have transportation, they may not have parental guidance to get them there, so that didn't often work. More often than not, they would fail to do their classes, they would come in front of me, and then they would have the conviction. When UTA approached me, I asked that I have a liaison between me and UTA, and that's how Jean McClung became involved. Jean was offered a salary of the sorts, but of course Jean just wants to get paid for her parking. But she has been a tremendous help. When these kids have problems in the school district, she knows who to call. She knows how to get things happen. But the person who does all the work is Lou Wynn. She has a master's of social work from UTA. She is very good with these kids. Once again, I think she has handed you some letters from the kids and some stories. She knows how to communicate with them. She doesn't say, come to my office at 3:05 on the UTA campus. She texts them. She meets them at public libraries. She meets them at school. She is very efficient and good at communicating with these kids and helping them and helping their families also. And one of our biggest goals is to make sure they get a GED or a high school diploma. She told me a story one time where one kid was not going to graduate from high school because they weren't passing physical education. They weren't passing physical education because they didn't have the right pair of shoes. Easy fix, but the kid had just never told anybody that. But he told Lou, we got it fixed. There's also, more often than not, they have truancy tickets, and I mean thousands of dollars in tickets with the municipalities, and we work with them to give them credit for the time they've been in jail. It's just a matter of everybody communicating and talking to each other to make this work. And Lou does a great job of it. She has told me numerous stories that I think she'd be glad to share with you if you were ever interested to hear them. I think this program has taken off very fast. Usually I have to sell a program to the defense bar. I didn't have to sell this program to the defense bar. They jumped on it. The state jumped on it. It's been amazing how fast it is caught on and how much the bar is using it. Unfortunately, I'm probably going to lose funding for this program in January. But I'm very proud of it and how far it's come. So that's all my special programs. Once again, y'all are very generous with all of my needs over there, and I appreciate it a great deal.
Judge Cummings, we appreciate very much you having the passion to focus in this area, and you've done an awful lot for the people in Tarrant County, and we appreciate very much everything.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge, and all of the people you brought with you who are integrally involved in these programs.
Your Honor, we could go back to the briefing item and go back to item A and ask Mr. Kelly if he'd like to address the court.
Mr. Kelly, come on down.
Well, I just want to thank the Commissioners Court for providing citizens of this county and the lawyers of this community the finest civil courts building in Texas. It's not never happened without your indulgence and consideration. And on behalf of the lawyers of this community, I deeply express our appreciation. I think the people of this community for years to come, this county for years to come, will thank you again. The lawyers should always thank you because they'll be occupy this building for years to come. But we do profoundly thank the Commissioners Court. You're a wonderful court. We appreciate you.
Well, we appreciate the work that you and your committee did, and you know, our hope would be that this building will be as I think adaptable to what goes inside as the family law. Because again, by working together collaboratively with the Bar Association as well as with all the other people who are going to work inside of that building, I think we're going to create, as you said, the best civil courts building in the state. So.
And the best thing about it, Your Honor, from a lawyer's standpoint, all the judges are in agreement on the thing, too. They love what you've done.
Well, getting the judges to agree on everything, all of them to agree on the same thing is a miracle within itself. But you helped start. Well, thank you.
That's all we have at this time, Your Honor.
Well, I would like to recognize our tax assessor collector because he is wearing red today, and it was definitely a great game last night. Go Rangers! We just need one more win. We just need one more win. Hopefully, we'll get that tomorrow night. We'll now recess our open session and proceed to close to discuss items exempted under 551.07, 1072, 074, 076, and 087 of the Texas Government. Return from our closed session, we'll now address the following matters.
Thank you, Your Honor. Under item E2, the district attorney is requesting the adoption of a resolution with authority to initiate condemnation proceedings with regard to some property.
And in that regard, I move that I move for the following: resolution and order authorizing the use of the power of eminent domain to acquire a fee simple interest in a 0.062 acre tract of land being a part of Lot 1, Malik Estates, addition to the city of Southlake in Tarrant County, Texas, for a public project known as FM 1938, FM 1709 to SH 114 and authorizing the Tarrant County District Attorney's Office to initiate said condemnation proceedings.
I'll second the motion. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. There being no further business, we are adjourned.